What's going on, Packers fans? Welcome to Cheesehead TV post-game chat after the Packers win their 12th home opener in a row. At some point, maybe the NFL will give Matt LaFleur one of these in week one, but the Packers pretty much dominating the Colts from the opening gun. And I understand at times this game was frustrating, especially at the start of the second half. A lot of the getting behind the sticks from the offense, etc. But man, the Packers were in control of this game from the opening gun. And I don't think there's any doubt that this is one of Matt LaFleur's best coaching jobs throughout his entire tenure in Green Bay so far. Whether it was Josh Jacobs, the lean on the running game, his, let's call it brilliance as far as being able to absorb hits and create yards after contact. No doubt you hate that one of those touchdowns got called back. You hate that he fumbled right as he's going into the end zone. But Josh Jacobs was an absolute warhorse today. You loved what you saw. That's why they signed him, especially considering they were starting a backup quarterback in Malik Willis, who, hey, it's a hell of a job for Malik Willis. No, he wasn't dynamic. As I said during the 5 Things to Watch video earlier last evening, this morning, no one expects him to come in and be a superstar, especially after being here a couple weeks, right? But to have what Matt LaFleur termed a command of the offense, for them to be able to run as much and as many different things as they did, just great work from Malik Willis, who, to his eternal credit, was extremely smart with the football throughout the game. That has been one of his knocks as far as putting the ball in jeopardy, the defenses being able to somewhat overwhelm him as far as coverages or what they're showing versus what they're giving. And I thought he played an outstanding game. Did never, not once, put the ball in jeopardy, give the defense an opportunity to flip the script on the Packers, and plus contributed really with his legs in a way that I think was somewhat expected, but also was great to see as far as adding another dimension that you probably wouldn't have with Jordan Love, simply because you don't want to put your starter in jeopardy the way you might on some of these design quarterback runs, but also just escaping outside the pocket and making things happen with his legs when things were covered. Again, don't want to put the ball in jeopardy. We're just going to tuck it and run and live to fight another down. I just thought that was a very solid performance from Malik Willis in a W, where I've already seen people complaining and talking about, oh, they were so timid or they were so this or that. And I understand, trust me, in the moment, the feeling of the game, I understand feeling frustrated. But it doesn't take much to step back and look at it 30,000 feet and say, given the circumstances, the Packers played a hell of a football game as a team. And I haven't talked about the defense yet, which I thought played extremely well. A couple of interceptions, yet again. A team that had, 7 on the year last season. They've already picked like quarterback off in 2 games at a greater clip than they did throughout 16, 17 games last year. This is a team that will continue to grow and develop on that side of the ball. Thought you had some really promising performances from the likes of Devontae Wyatt, Eric Wilson, obviously Xavier McKinney coming up clutch again. This is a really fun win, and I hope people can kind of enjoy it rather than pick it apart and talk about what the Packers didn't do or anything Matt LaFleur may not have done to their liking, etc. Man, it is the NFL. As Matt himself always says, no one cares. All they care about is getting the W. And that's what the Packers did today, as they should. Just outstanding work. Hello to everybody in the comments section. Good to see everybody. Brandy starting us off. Packers with 5 interceptions over 2 games and room to grow. Okay. Look at Brandy saying nice things about the defense. This is a new world we're living in. I absolutely love it. Ed, how are you? Thanks for the super chat. Lots for your good, bad, and ugly, but total domination in the win column. Absolutely. Get the Packers at 1-1. Seeing the Lions lose, chef's kiss. Clearly, the Vikings came out on top against the 49ers. You hate to see that, but it's going to be fun to watch the Bears lose later on. But yes, Packers, get back in the win column. You absolutely love to see it. Porkmaster, how are you, man? Always better to start the week after a Packers win. 1,000,000,000%, especially this week because I am moving apartments. That's right. This week is my last week in this room. Starting next game that we do watch parties for, I'm going to be in my new place down the street. Very exciting. I am very, very excited. Lots of puking today. Jets players were barfing at the end of the game too, LOL. Jake, what was great is LaFleur just talked about that, saying he asked Willis why he didn't throw the ball on a certain third down, and it was because Josh Myers threw up all over the ball. Woo, gotta love these games in 85-degree heat. Let's go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Jay Foreman, thanks for the super chat. That jet motion was insane. Say hi to my dad, Craig. What's up, Craig? Craig Foreman, father of Jay. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Craig? Sammy on Facebook. Are we trading Jordan? No, absolutely not. Luke Carnes, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. Let's go. No negative thoughts here. Keep carrying the G, Nags. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. Hope you guys can keep up as I carry that G. Brad, thanks for the super chat. Big win without QB1. Matt LaFleur masterclass. Go, Pack, go. It really was. That's the thing. I just don't think people understand how difficult it is to win with your backup quarterback, no matter what circumstance might be around that backup, whether he is in your program for a while or having just been traded for at the end of training camp, literally not in your building for the entirety of the offseason program, not in the building for training camp, not in the building for preseason, and then comes in and has what, a couple weeks? And then, oh, by the way, go out and start an NFL game. That's not easy. It is not easy. And Matt LaFleur had an awesome, outstanding approach to how he wanted to handle this game. Again, as I said earlier, in the moment, are there moments where you're going to be frustrated because you're not getting the kind of production and or offensive performance that you're used to as a Packers fan in particular? Yeah, I get that. But ultimately, there is a wider view that the coaching staff is taking, and they 100% had a great plan and executed that plan. And hey, shout out to all the players making that work. I mean, that is not easy when you've got a backup quarterback in there who you haven't played a whole lot with, and you're trying to make adjustments to coverage and do things at the line of scrimmage, a different cadence, different ideas as how to attack things. Man, I thought this was a great team win. Absolutely phenomenal team win. Joe, what's up? No big stats, but I thought Kraft had a great game. Could not agree more. He had that one reception there in the flat, which is literally what we talked about on Daily earlier this week as far as utilizing him as a blocker in line and then being able to get him involved in the passing game a little bit when things were probably covered up downfield. You can give your little security blanket check down there to Tucker Kraft. Absolutely love it. Diego says, hey, we will take it. You are correct, sir. 1,000% correct. We got Michael. What's up, What's up, Michael? How are you? Thanks for the super chat. Aaron, I'll be in Rome next Sunday for the Packer game. Can you connect me with that other Cheesehead TV fan there? We will do a Cheesehead TV meetup. Michael, I appreciate the super chat. I will say Connor will be there on his honeymoon. So I'm somewhat reticent to put somebody on blast and or say, hey, can you meet this other guy who's in Rome while you're on your honeymoon? I want this man to have a long, fruitful, beautiful marriage. I'm not trying to have her. You remember when we were in Rome and you met that dude who we never met on our honeymoon? Michael, I appreciate it. And if Connor is listening and he wants to find another Packer fan while he's in Rome on his honeymoon, I will let him know. But, I'm a bit reticent. That's where I'm at with that. Cynthia, I don't know what that means, but it's funny. Krista says, man, I love this team. Ant-Man LaFleur. There you go. That is a great, great way to look at it. Zachary, how are you doing? Thanks for the super chat. I can't wait to see the Packers beat the Titans in person. It's my first Packers game. Good win today. Go, Pack, go. Zachary, you're going to have a great time. I will say, the vibe in Nashville on game day is outstanding. coming over the bridge, the whole vibe around the stadium. It's so good. If you get there on Saturday and enjoy much of the kind of vibe around Nashville in general, it's pretty awesome. But game day in particular in Nashville is great. You'll have a great time. I said not this first time throwing the ball. They put him in position and honestly could have put up a few more good throws. Yeah, I think there was an opportunity to probably let him off the leash a little bit more, but I understand LaFleur being reticent to do so. I get, and he kind of pointedly talked about this. I think it was Schneidman who asked him post game about the quote conservative approach at the end of the first half. Matt was very pointed in his response about how he wasn't reckless, and I call that smart, is what he said, with the opponent having 3 timeouts, etc. I get where he's coming from. I think he could have trusted Malik a little bit more, but I understand his viewpoint. And again, that's what I mean when I talk about pulling back and looking at it 30,000 feet. I get it. I understand that's where you don't want something god awful to happen and flip the entire narrative of the game on its head at the end of the first half just because you're trying to get into field goal range. Because that's the other thing. It's not like they were going to be gunning it for a touchdown with a minute something left at the end of the first half. A guy who hasn't been in the building in a couple weeks, etc. I understand the approach. Totally get it. Godsmack, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Malik Willis appreciation chat. I get we ran the ball well, but that touchdown to Wicked Wicks and that bomb to good old Romeo Dobbs was a chef's kiss. Kid did his job, especially after only being on the team for 3 weeks. Could not agree more. I think that's a perfect description of the afternoon for Malik Willis. No doubt about it. Nice. Jordan Morgan is coming into his own. Brandy, I got to admit, I did not watch line play too much on offense. I did see Sean Ryan got the start. I assume Jordan Morgan was in there as a rotational guy at right guard. Very much looking forward to getting into the tape and taking a look. Phil, thanks for checking out the stream on Facebook. And I think you echo something that we heard a lot on the chat and also here in the chat post game as well. Where did the pass rush go? Was looking for more pressure from 52 and 91. Van Ness penalty was questionable. The Van Ness penalty was bullshit, is what is the word you're looking for. As far as the pass rush or lack thereof, I do suspect, and Matt kind of touched on this post game, the approach was similar this week as it was last week when it came to a quarterback in Anthony Richardson, much like Jalen Hurts, that can absolutely turn your lights off with his legs. I get Packers fans being frustrated. I get not getting sacks or a pass rush on the quarterback, etc. But they're being asked to do something a bit different against these quarterbacks these first couple weeks than they will be for classic pocket passers. That's not to completely excuse the fact that, yeah, he had some time throughout the game today. But I would hold off. I would reserve judgment on the edge rushers for the Packers until they play a quarterback who isn't a dual threat, i.e. next week against Malik Willis. Malik Willis. What do I say? Will Levis, obviously. I just think there's a very specific plan when it comes to these quarterbacks who can get outside the pocket and hurt you and i.e. kill you the way Jalen Hurts did a couple years ago, that I reserve judgment. That's just me. I'm a patient man. Some of you are not, and I understand that, but that's where I'm living right now. Godsmack, thanks again, man. Also, Devontae Wyatt is the real deal. A defensive tackle beating a left tackle around the edge. Are you kidding me? I mean, that was an outstanding stunt. You know, there's no doubt that his speed and explosiveness was on display, starting inside, looping outside, and beating the tackle. That's good shit right there. You absolutely love to see that. What else we got here, folks? We got people talking about Brazil. I don't know why that is. Not sure if you have discussed it yet, but I thought LaFleur's plan was obvious to predict, but executed to virtual perfection. Great team victory today. Eric, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because how many times this week did we talk about the fact that as far as the Colts giving up as much rushing yardage as they did against the Texans, well, obviously they're protecting against C.J. Stroud. They're worried about C.J. Stroud beating him with his arm, and clearly that's going to be so different this week because no one's scared of Malik Willis. Well, obviously, even though they weren't scared of Malik Willis and did at times commit numbers to the box, the Packers were still able to be productive on the ground. That is a credit, not only to Matt LaFleur, Adam Stenovich, everybody on the offensive staff, because they clearly had a plan to counter all of that. We've talked about it before here, but just because you commit a number or extra numbers into the box as a defense doesn't mean you can't run as an offense. There are still ways to attack that. And the Packers did a great job of that today. No doubt about it. What else we got here? Dobbs mossed his ass. What a chat. That's outstanding. I mean, Romeo Dobbs, one-on-one. You give him a 50-50 ball. I like his chances. Now, obviously, it was a bit underthrown, which helps the receiver, especially if he's looking for it. But, yeah, no doubt. Romeo Dobbs, he was the initial or main target on a number of, important plays today. I think it speaks to Matt LaFleur's trust in Dobbs. Jerry says, we got people talking about international stuff even now. I personally don't like how the NFL is having games outside the U.S. We are the National Football League, not the International Football League. We. Who is we? And by the way, no one cares, dude. They want to make money. The money's there. It's going to be made outside of the U.S. I can't wait for the Packers to play in Munich or wherever they end up next. I can't wait. Wherever they are, I'll be there. Because you know why? There are Packers fans all over the world. And we love them. We're devoted to them. That's what we do. Mr. JJ, we have a punter. They do have a punter. I think Waylon was a bit of a secret weapon today, as far as he probably won't be talked about a whole lot throughout this week. But his ability to pin the Colts deep and to flip field position and to essentially, limit return yardage and ability from the Colts, that's a big, big-time game from Waylon. There's no doubt that, like I said, there's not going to be something that gets a lot of headlines or a lot of run online especially, but big, big game. No question. Joe, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Lions with OT win and loss at home. Thoughts? I have no thoughts. It's week to week, man. You can lose at any point. You can win at any point. Just win the game, like the Packers did today. Tiggs, thanks for checking out the stream on Twitch. Appreciate you, man. Hell of a plan for Matt LaFleur. I agree. And I think someone asked him about this during the postgame, but it's one thing to have a plan. As Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It would have been very easy for Matt LaFleur to come out there and go, okay, we're going to run the ball. And then the Colts stop it or say they're not productive. And to go into a shell and say, oh, gosh, how do I respond? But they clearly executed the plan in place. They did not get deterred even after the start of the first half where they were continually behind the sticks. He didn't shy away. He didn't panic. He didn't completely change from the plan. He kept with it, and they won the game. It's big time from the floor. Godsmack, thanks again, man. Packers won, Lions lost. Bodes well for us. Great week. I mean, it's 1 week, but I like it. I like it a lot. Michael, I'm glad you brought this up. Thanks for checking out the stream on Facebook. Walker just seems lost much of the time. I caution people to be too harsh when it comes to Quay Walker. I understand that sometimes he seems or looks out of position. Certainly has missed a tackle or two, as every NFL player does at times. But I do think it's never as bad as we think it is watching live. And plus, we don't know what the calls are or what he's being asked to do. There's no doubt that we would like him to be a little bit more productive. Certainly want him to catch that fucking ball that is right in his hands and could have just ended the game. But for the most part, I do think live, and I thought this after watching live in Brazil and thinking, oh, he had this terrible game. And then I go back and watch the tape, and it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. I just caution about the knee-jerk reaction when it comes to something like that. That's just me. That is just how I roll. All right, everybody, I have to get going. Cannot thank you enough for hanging out and talking Packers after a big win at Lambeau, another home opener, 12 in a row for the green and gold. Hey, NFL, at least some point in your lives, can you give Matt LaFleur a week 1 home opener? I'm begging you. In the meantime, be on the lookout for Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It'll be up a little later today. And then make sure you subscribe to the Cheesehead TV Nation newsletter. The next one will go out tomorrow morning with all our coverage of the game. Thank you so much. Please hit like, hit subscribe, Tell your friends. Tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.